Okay. So dear friends, I am going to do certain summarization of the past week. Okay. So if you see the author Mellissa Perri, she has used two words repeatedly throughout the book. One is the customer, okay, and another is the product. So as per these authors, as per these pioneers of the people, the customer, they are always referring to a person who is going to purchase, who is going to pay the money from his pocket. And we all are dealing multiple customers. Okay, just take the example of a product-based organization. Each and every team is not facing to the external customer who is paying for that product, but they are working for the internal customer. So those we call as the internal customer explicitly. But when they means when the author is using the word the word customer, she is always referring a person who is purchasing, who is paying for that services. Okay, and another important definition is the definition of the product. So these authors, again, I'm referring the SVPG group over here. So when they speak about the product, so it is anything that adds a value to the customer, any feature, anything that adds a value to the customer. So that is a product. Just take the example of any product-based organization, any product-based organization. So those product-based organizations are building the product for the outside people, but there are so many internal teams who are not external facing. There are so many internal teams. They are working for the betterment of that product. Just take the example that, okay, we all have purchased the insurance, or we all have purchased certain car. Okay. So anything, whether it is a software, whether it is a hardware, or it is supporting infrastructure teams, whether it is supporting infrastructure teams. Okay, they are working for the internal teams. Those internal teams are working for the next internal teams or next internal customers. So those internal customers are working for the next internal customers, and those internal customers might be facing the external customers. So if you see the hierarchy, I might be at level 5, but I'm working for those internal teams to make the external product better. That means whatever my cross-functional teams are there, those are also called as the product teams. That is the common terminologies from the author perspective that we have to keep in mind. We have to keep it in mind. Okay, so initially I have tried to touch base that one. Okay, and since Masandan is not over here, so we will try to have some summarization of chapter 2, 3, 4, 5 once he's back, because at the moment I'm not prepared for that one. But Shamshir is there, who is going to do the summarization of last week. He has presented those chapters. Okay, so Shamshir, over to you. Or
Sure.
and I know that, okay, you might be having certain questions. Please write it down to maintain the forum, to maintain the rhythm. We will take all the questions at the end. Okay, all the questions at the end. Yeah, Imtiaz, you're telling something?
No, no, I'll write down the question.
Okay, yes. So Shamshir, over to you.
Yeah.
To give the
So
summarization.
right. So last week I presented chapter 7, which is a great product manager from Mellissa Perri book, Escaping the Pit Trap. Right? And the idea of that chapter is to highlight and point out what are the roles and responsibility of a great product manager. How can you become a great product manager? And there are certain things that needs to be done if you want to become a great product manager. But one of the things that I was able to jot down from that chapter is there are certain qualities of great product manager. For example, the great product manager should be visionary. They should be customer focused. They should have good communication skills. They should be adaptive to the situation, and they should be a good prioritizer. They always make decision based on data, right, and from the customer data or from the existing data that they have, and they are basically a collaborator in the environment, right? So these are a couple of qualities that I talked about in the session. One of the most important skill that a great product manager should have is a great communication skill, right? Because the role of product manager is to communicate with different division, different departments, and to make the things happen. So if the company has a vision to build a product, for example, any application, maybe in the enterprise application or customer focus application, anything. So they have to communicate with different departments, business units to make the things happen, to execute their vision. And that is only possible if the product manager has good communication. So this communication skill is at the top of product manager's list. If they are a good communicator, they should be able to, execute their vision, communicate with different departments. Right? Once the product is launched, how a product manager is going to, you know, say that my product is working, right? So they have to have a data or analytics integrated in their product, which will say that how much feature that they have built is used by customers, right? So they should always be a data driven. They should always make decision based on the existing data, based on the future data, based on this data, right? And once the application is in production, when the customers are using it, there might be a chances that a lot of issues pops up, there are a lot of challenges that will arise on the product basis. So whatever issue, whatever problem customers are facing, maybe they wanted to have a new feature, new request. So product manager, great product manager always prioritize things properly. And how does they do that? They actually see what issue or what feature will create a more impact on the product, and based on that they prioritize feature. And there are certain factors that needs to consider. But ultimately, the idea of the chapter 7 of great product manager is to focus on the skills for the product manager that will help them succeed, that will help them make a product succeed and they, bring more revenue. That's the idea of this chapter for great product
Great. Am I audible?
manager. Yeah.
Great.
And I think Abdul also shared this recording on WhatsApp. So please feel free to watch that and share your feedback.
Yes.
If you have any questions, please let
Yep. So I was just looking. Thank you, Shamshir, for sharing your recap. And just I was going through my notes. Okay, I was able to locate that one. So it is about the couple of chapters which Masnandan has covered. Okay, so one of the important point is about the role of the product manager. So the role of the product manager, the Mellissa Perri is telling to try to get into the area of unknown, reducing as much as we reduce the unknown part. That is one thing. And another thing is author is telling that okay, there are multiple types of product organizations are there. Multiple types of we can say organizations are there. Okay, one is the sales led, another is the visionary led, another is the technology led, and another is the product led. Okay, and if we see the Apple, so it is a visionary led organization. Okay, there are certain technology led as well. But what author is telling, if we keep the customer at the center, if we keep customer at the center, so those and customer are using the product. So product and customer, these are the very much correlated terms. We should have the organizations building around the product and the customer. Okay, so this is what she has told. So this was a quick summary of the previous chapters. Okay, we spent around 18 minutes. So again, we will take the questions and answers at the end. So Dipti, over to you to complete your chapters in 15 to 20 minutes max. Okay, so that we have sufficient time for the Q&A at the end.
Sure.
Over to you.
Sure. I just have let me get started. Initially, I thought I will not create a PPT, but then just as a pointer or a placeholder, I have created. Let me share it. It's just 5 slides. Let me share it. You will stop other screen sharing. I'll stop. Abdul's your
Yep.
screen, okay?
Please go ahead. Please go ahead. You are co-host. Please go ahead.
Okay. So as I think few discussions already started with the book of Build Trap by Mellissa Perri. Here it was.
Abdul, we are seeing only your screen as of now.
Okay, I think she got dropped off by mistake.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I don't see in the audience list over here. So she might be joining. Yep. Dipti is back. Yep. Dipti, you are on mute.
Okay. Am I audible now?
Yeah. And
Yes, you are audible,
have,
but your screen is not visible.
Yeah.
I'm sharing it again. I think it
Yep.
got dropped and reconnected. Now I'm audible and the screen is visible, right?
Yes.
Okay, sure. Yeah. Thanks. So as I think in the last session, Samshir has already covered. This is something a chapter before that where the part 2 starts, and Mellissa Perri is talking about like what is the role of a product manager. As in the recap also we saw the role of a product manager as an integral part is something like this. If we take an onion of this, the role of a product manager is very much at the core. The onion layers, you can see how that role can help to build the strategy on process of improvements and building an organization which can be in different, maybe it can be visionary led or tech led or product strategy led. So the role of a product manager is something which is building this all the other layers, and so it is very important. It all depends on this role as a person who is leading it and how that person can help to define this role. So what the role is, it is responsible for synthesizing multiple pieces of the data in terms of maybe all different aspects. It may be user analytics, may be customer feedback, how customer is feeling, what are their pain areas, what are they looking for. To resolve that problem, this role is defined. Maybe doing market research, approaching different markets and understanding what is happening. And then maybe in the organization there can be different all variety of stakeholders, so collecting their opinions of where this particular product is taking us in terms of uh, why we are building this product. That's the most important question, is why are we building this product and what outcome will it produce, how it is resolving customers problem. And that is what this role is expected to be answering, and that is where this role is called as a creator or an arbitrator. And if this product manager role creates such a specification and a really detailed specification which can go to developer, and without asking a single question, maybe developer can create those features and can be shipped to customers, and the customer will be happy to use it. So this product manager role is so important in terms of driving the whole product as an end-to-end. So a key role is answering these two questions, basically. Why we are building this product and what outcome will it produce? And Mellissa further identifying this role in terms of starting with like what is bad product manager, what it should not do, or what is not expected out of this product, or what are the wrong notions in the industry, considering that product manager is what they are doing. So she has narrated in terms of bad product manager archetype, something like this 3 is an example. Of course, there can be many more. So what she has considered here as a mini CEO. Now, many of us will think that when you are a startup and as a product manager, you will always feel like I am the owner. It's like my way or highway. But as a CEO of the company, what the hat you are wearing, it's like a people manager, moreover people manager, and a lot more, of course. As a startup, you may be able to, or you are expected to be wearing all the different hats on defining the strategy, hiring people, firing people, building processes, and anything and everything around it. But what Mellissa points out here is this is a bad product manager as one of the type when you are seeing as a mini CEO role. Mini CEO role is moreover on the people manager. Whereas product manager is expected to be looking more in the product thinking. In a way, under the waterfall process, what we were saying, the first step for the product manager is to talk to the people in the business. Usually we call it internal stakeholders, and ask them for their inputs and requests. And then maybe on base of that, you are creating a detailed specifications of what is needed. Now, in agile way of working, we all know we are looking at like minimalist. We follow 3C, writing user stories in the minimum capturing of the information at the initial level, writing of as an actor, action, and benefit, and then it is at a certain time frame we'll sit with the team and then detail out what the requirement is exactly. But here what we are doing is agile assume that someone was doing that front of funnel part, generating and validating ideas, and instead of optimize the production of the software. But here mini CEO, it start listening to your team, and it is not hire fire people. Your team is the first asset to you, whom you will be influencing the most, who is expected to be working hand in hand with you to understand your vision, to achieve that roadmap. So start listening to your team. That is the first thing. So the bad archetype of product manager as a mini CEO, that title is incorrect. If you will start wearing that hat of a mini CEO, it may not work. And you may not be able to align your vision to be a good product manager. So what she says is, go seek out data to prove and validate your ideas, fall in love with those problems, and that will help you to become a good product manager. Brainstorming session with the team, that may help, and your connect with the team will help you to become a good product manager. The second example, what she quotes here, the waiter. Now we all know, as a standard notion at heart, waiter is nothing but an order taker. So if we all know as an fantasy also that sometime at some restaurant as a kid when I went, and that waiter was the first as a face of the restaurant, who helped the kid to play a game, helped parents to choose the right dishes and most in demand dish of the restaurant. And that waiter's name is someone who will remember always. So just doing order taking as a role, maybe simply that is what is expected of the role as a waiter. But you can be more, and how you can be more of that same role, but not just an order taker. Otherwise, it happens as an order taking. What customer is, you are going to customer, asking them what features are missing. And if you build those features, and again, it will be a circle, we call it as the product death cycle. By David Bland on the page number 29, she has mentioned this death cycle. Death cycle is something you are asking customer, what is missing. You are building that and your product is of no use. You are in that cycle now. Instead, you are expected to be understanding what is the problem of a customer. And by understanding the problem, you build a solution. That is what is expected as a product manager, to come out of this death cycle. And then you are the person, as a good product manager will be, by after understanding the problem of a customer, you will be the core person to prioritize that. And that is where your role comes. That is where the importance of this role of a product manager comes in. And that will help to build the right product at the right time for the organization to be in the market. So product death cycle is a specific form of a build trap. That's what Mellissa points. You are implementing ideas without validating them. And it's not the customer's job to come up with their own solution. They can only narrate their problem in a right way, with the right pain in their heart. Because they are wearing the shoe and they are experiencing the bite. That's the job of a product manager. You need to deeply understand their problems and then determine the best solution for them. Waiters are reactive thinkers, not strategic thinkers. That's what she says. There is usually an amount of learned helplessness that contributes to that. And they simply may not be able to answer it or address it. It's very simple to find the waiter archetype paired with another one, like project management. Now she is moving into the third archetype here listed. And that is very, very common in industry, I would say. Very common. Former project manager. And that's how this, that's how the career success progression is generally happening. That you are a project manager, senior project manager, you may be managing multiple projects, and then that's the position where you want to get promoted as a product manager. But they are wearing a different hat. It's a different role altogether. The project manager hat is answering and always busy to answer the when. When will we finish this project? Are we on track? When we will hit the deadline? So when is always as in radar for project manager, versus what the product manager is responsible for, are responsible for why. That's a difference. You will have to come out from the when of a project manager's head and wear a shoe of why we are building this product. And that may not be easy for few people. Because it may be difficult to answer the former, and too often that product managers who don't understand their roles well resort to doing that type of work. They'll get into the cycle of running after or chasing the deadlines. Agile methodologies distribute the responsibility of the project manager across the team. These cross-functional teams help them to keep player dedicated to ship a feature. So less coordination, of course. And there are different buckets now on the responsibilities, of course, with the agile ways of delivery. So many project managers, once they exit from these companies, have now been product managers or product owners. But answering why is very different than answering when. That's a difference of and that both the role demands very differently. It requires a strategic mindset that understands the customer, business, market, and organization. The onion layer, which I showed at the start, and product manager answers and works and contributes to each of this layer. And that is the critical skill set for a great product manager. That's what Mellissa says. So only the sixth chapter, what I was to contribute is only a very short summary of why product manager role and what are the bad archetypes as a product manager. I think that's all from my end. We can continue with the remaining of what the scope for today's session is, if no questions.
I think we planned that the questions would be taken later part of the session, right?
Sure. Okay. So then page number 31 is the great product manager, which Samshar has already covered in the last session.
True.
Over
True.
to you, Rahul. Maybe can continue for the remaining scope for
chapter.
today. That is 8 and 9. Yeah. Thank you.
I won't be able to cover 9. I would be covering 8. So.
Yeah, sure. As what time permits, we have half an hour now. Okay, thank you. Over to you.
Thank you.
I'll stop my screen sharing.
Yep. Rahul, over to you. I have made you the co-host. I made you the co-host.
Thank you.
Yep.
Let me try to. So one of the best thing which I understand is that me and Dipti are very much aligned in taking the templates of the presentation.
Oh, great coincidence.
Become the same template. So somehow
great
it got aligned.
Just coincidence.
Okay,
yeah, we'll continue the same for today's sessions.
I would rather than saying coincidence, I would say we are thinking alike when we are on the product space now.
Great, thank you. Over to you, Rahul.
Thank you.
Yeah,
thank you.
And you both are a species as well. Okay, so obviously I can see so much similarity. Okay. Yep.
Thanks. So folks, my apologies. Last week I was supposed to cover chapter 10, and then somehow I was not able to complete the reading. But one of the things which I am trying to do and I am learning through this group is to capture all the thoughts. So as I was capturing the thoughts of chapter 8, I thought, okay, it would be good that as Amit is not presenting, let me present it through. So chapter 8 is all about product manager career path. One of the key things which I have seen in this book, which author brings in, is author has her view to make a product-led organization. She has brought up certain aspects of it. So the certain aspects, when you look into the onion diagram, which was been brought in by Dipti. So to build a product-led organization, author recommends to have role, strategy, process, and organizational policies as one of the key factor in to define how you can build a successful product-led organization. So role became a critical part, or you would say a centerpiece for all of this to be to drive all of these aspects like strategy, process, and organizational policies. So product manager career path, it becomes another important aspect in her perspective for any organization to be successful. So in this chapter of product manager career path, she talks about the role, product manager role, and how this role is to be reflected from 3 different aspects. Product manager role focuses on tactical, strategic, and operational aspects of the role itself. So tactical work for a product manager focuses on shorter term actions of building features and getting them out of the door. So the key concept of this role from a tactical perspective is to build down the features, create a features, and get them out of the door. So that's a tactical perspective. Anyone who is playing a role of a product owner and thinking tactically, he or she is just going to continuously build a feature and roll them out of the door. when we think from this role to think from a strategic perspective, now from a strategic perspective, it's positioning the product and the company to win in the market and achieve the necessary goals. So that's where the differentiation would happen. So a tactical product manager would focusing on building the features and moving them out of the door. A strategic one would be positioning the product and the company in such a way that it would create a win in the market and achieve the necessary goals. And when we are talking about operational part of the role, it would be balancing or linking that strategy and tactical work together. Like what would make an organization win in the market and achieve the goal, and what are the features which are necessary to make sure that linking and that success happens, is where operational aspect of the role would come. So the role consists of tactical, strategic, and operational. Tactical is someone who needs to roll out the features. Strategic is someone who needs to make sure that we are creating a win in the market and are able to achieve the goal. And operational is balancing between these two thought process. So these are two different thought. These two alignment is happening via operational. To So one of the key aspect when Mellissa started thinking about how this role would be perceived in, she suggested that the currently organizations are lagging building the roles. What they are saying is that you are hiring people with experience from the market, but you are not building that kind of a journey within your organization. So she suggested that the role journey starts with anywhere from being an associate product manager, then product manager, then senior product manager, and then director of a product, then VP of a product, and then chief product officer. So these are the roles what she perceives when she start thinking from a product space. An associate product manager role is someone who is an entry level, someone who has a mindset of building a product, but has not started their journey. And it could be anyone with the right skill set can pick up that role. But the expectation is that someone who should get aligned with a product manager. So product manager is a role who is actually working with a development team, UX designer to ideate and build the right solutions for the customer. So associate product manager is someone who needs to work hand in hand with the product manager so that he or she is going to build onto that journey. Team, I hope I'm audible and my screen is visible and I'm able to continue. You are able to hear me continuously. Just trying to take a pause and
Yes.
making
Yes,
sure.
yes, yes,
Yes,
Rahul.
Rahul.
Okay, okay, great. So now we talked about associate product manager role, which is an entry level position in the product manager role. Organizations should have many of these so that they are creating those budding product managers who is in future going to help you build the right strategy for your product. The journey, you have to start building these roles within the organization rather than hiring them from an industry. So that's an expectation which Melissa brings in from a product manager career path. Then we talked about product manager role, who is actually working on ground and work with a development team and UX designer. Then the role adds up some seniority, and that's where senior product manager is someone who is responsible for doing same thing as more or as a product manager, but they oversee more complexities in the product or more scope in the product. So that's where the seniority increases. Then she has added something of a role of a director of a product, which is usually found in a larger organization, larger companies, and is critical for scaling the product portfolio. So a director of a product is someone who is going to scale the product portfolio. Consider you are building a fintech and currently you are having a product which are specifically towards retail loan. then probably you may start building across from having a retail loan product to having a corporate loan product added into it, and then your portfolio starts getting bigger and bigger on a loan aspects of itself. And that's where the director of product would start coming in, because he or she is going to help build that kind of a portfolio which is more effective, and you are able to scale within your organization on that portfolio. The next thing which comes in queue is VP of a product, is a role which oversees the strategy and operation of entire product lines. So someone who is not only building a strategy, but now if you have multiple product lines, like loan is one could be one product line in a fintech, then there could be other aspects, other product lines which could be around uh, I'm just not able to think out loud here. And there could be loan, and then in retail there could be around financing part of it. I'm not able to think out loud, but then that could be a different. There could be different product line in the product portfolios. And the last would be the chief product officer, is someone who is critical role in an industry which sees entire product portfolios, and is someone working very closely with a organizational decisions at a board level. So it's a C-suite role which sits next to the organizational decision body, which is sponsoring the overall organization, and sits on the board and driving the decision for the organization to build on the future. So these are the roles which Mellissa defines into product manager career path, and she sees that it should start somewhere from a journey of a budding associate product manager, and it ends up somewhere at a sitting at a board and driving across the budget of how and what and when our energies and our money should be focusing upon. So that's overall from this chapter of the product manager career path.
Great, Rahul. Thank you very much for presenting those chapters. So let's open for the Q&A. Right. There are so many points. I have also written it down. But over to someone apart from me to ask the questions. And just to share, this meeting is overall for 90 minutes, but we will keep the question and answers for 20 minutes. Again, on the convenience, as per the common agreement, we will again extend it. Okay, not beyond 90 minutes. Okay.
Okay, trying to learn what you guys are saying. So experience some of the things myself. Dipti told that feature asking the customer and the debt cycle, that really we experience actually. It's a typically when you're building a product in a sales-driven manner actually. And I think there is famous quote about Ford. I don't know whether he really said or not, but he said like, if I would have asked my customers, tell me what should I build, they would have told him that, okay, I build some fast running horses. So that we experience in our product actually. But it is not wrong that we actually can. It's not that we cannot build sales-driven approach into some kind of a product. It takes its own grind. You have to really again drill down and then go. So nothing is like 100% this way or that. The other thing that I was trying to understand, why are we talking so much about product manager? Because product manager comes quite late in the picture. Shouldn't it be product owner? Because this is like looks like for the established organization who are adding features to the product. But when it comes to defining a starting product, it is the conviction of the person who is trying to create that product. It's a creator role where he has a very good conviction that, okay, this is what is the gap and this is what is the product that is going to fit. And then once he starts going maneuvering through that over a period, this comes probably quite late in the picture, the product management kind of a role. The initial grind is not covered in these chapters, is what I see, at least whatever discussions we are going through right now.
Yeah, so Imtiaz, if I may answer, when I read through the, when I'm reading through the chapters, one of the key aspects which I saw from author's perspective is that she has not seen product owner as a role, because product owner role is pretty specifically been called out after the movement of agile has started in
With
the
the
industry.
agile, yeah, with the agile buzzword.
with
That's
the-
what
with the-
I
yeah,
could, even I could relate
right.
and agree with
So
you,
once
Rahul.
the agile buzzword has started, where Scrum started in the modern industry of after 2010 or after 2001, this role of product owner started coming in picture. Prior to that, product owner role was not visible, so there was something called as product manager only. So for them to adapt into, because now if you see see how the role definition of from a product perspective also they are talking about, started talking about associate product manager. They are not talking about product owner anywhere. And whatever the if I when I read through product manager role, even whatever he or she is expected to do is currently being done by product owner roles. So currently the product owner role, what we understand in an industry, is very much aligned to what product manager in the book, which has been written by Mellissa. So she is asking people to do prioritization. She's asking product manager to realign, write down requirements in a format of user stories or anything else to the team, and making sure that the team is delivering on that product space. So that's how it's just a naming, the way it has been named in the book. But to answer you, product owner role is what we understand currently in an industry has been adapted very much, a kind of a role which then further grows into product manager role. Whereas from Melissa's perspective, there is nothing called as product owner. It starts with associate product manager, then senior product manager, and then VP of product, and then director, and then goes to a C-suite chief portfolio officer or something like that. I hope that answers your thoughts.
Yeah, I little bit of disagree, because I always kind of try to critique and then see the perspective there. The first of all, the manager is a word itself is a manager. Basically, he's managing what somebody has created a mess out of or created something. So manager itself doesn't drive any ownership of the product. Okay. So that's the negative wording. Okay. Second thing, the ownership. I worked with one guy called as Tommy Normie. He was there in Nokia. He was very good, excellent product manager. The way he used to come was he used to go and visit the carriers, and then he used to come and narrate the stories actually. I think user stories is one thing, but he was talking about the problems of the customer, and then he used to give that problems to the technical team. And the same thing that keeps on percolating down, that creates a good product, so that everybody starts innovating. The ownership goes right till the end. Otherwise, okay, my manager ne bola hai, I have to do this one, so I will code it this way. That's all. So why aspect only comes when somebody from the top, basically the owner, whether it is a product manager, you bracket my owner link though, he understand what the end customer is really looking at, and then when it goes down till the end, instead of asking to develop certain, let's say, do X, Y, Z, instead of that, you explain the logic behind that. Maybe I can pull some practical example. Not coming to my mind. Okay, I'll see if I can get. Okay, the other one I had. So what my thing is that it is currently, this book is talking about more of existing product and where you're trying to build and innovate. Whereas if you're trying to build the product right at the zero, somebody who's passionate, maybe the Ford guy who was working in a garage like that, and then he looked, not the Ford, I think the Yamaha or these kind of guys who created different companies. So they looked at the product completely from the different point of view. So that is more than 50% of the product journey. What probably we are discussing currently is existing product is there, something is proven, and then we are getting into this one. Nothing wrong in that, but this is the majority of the job roles which are available in the market. That's my so far understanding from the discussions.
Can I come
So
in?
anybody else?
Yeah. If you can allow, can I come in?
Yes.
Yeah, this is Siraj here. First of all, I think thanks, Abdulasi for getting me in, and really nice to meet all the guys. Though I missed out, I think, a couple of last sessions. I've been traveling and wasn't available. I don't have a questions or queries or such, but some comments and sort of like discussion points. The way I look at it is, I think, especially for these kind of sessions where it's a group discussion forum or book reading sessions. I can correlate some of the points which Imtiaz is saying, that the concept of product owner, product manager, or the landscape itself about how the products are getting shaped up. It's a very dynamic field. I mean, just see the past decade itself. There's lots of changes which happened here. Now, unless the book is written in a way where there are less connectivity between the chapters, this can bound to happen. The point of the discussion that having it. Let's say, for example, I missed out few of the things, so I may not be able to see if there's some discussion is happening that on this area. Like when some person is reading a chapter 8, somebody is reading chapter 3 or something. Most of the stuff that I have read and I've been practicing is there's always some connectivity. The author leaves something and then starts with those points which comes out in the later part. So there's nothing wrong. I think having the approach of people taking up chapters and discussion, having discussions and elaborating. There's nothing wrong. Absolutely nothing wrong. In fact, it helps in a way that in totality you get the complete gist of the book in a shorter period of time, rather than suppose if you're spending, let's say, 20 hours or 30 hours to finish one book, or 10 hours. Probably if the collective book reading is done, then you can get the collective wisdom of all the people. So that's the biggest advantage that you can get it. Now, one of the things that can happen is, like, before starting a book, let's say in the next session or something, one of the people can take care of the complete stuff. Let's say, for example, or somebody has already read and then we plan to take up that book. Let's say, you summarize, okay, this book is particularly, let's say, think about related part of it. Somebody is, or the next set of thought processes being done on the design perspective, design thinking, or organization design or something of those sort. Then if someone has already read the book or somebody has an idea about it, let's say if you jot down, the outcome or the result of this book is these 10 points. Okay. And then, let's say once you complete this activity, these are the 10 points which will have 80% clarity after reading it. If those are there in front of us when we are reading the book or individual chapters, then it will help a lot in terms of getting that connectivity. Okay, let's say in the organization design, one of the aspects is probably change management, or the organization change. And then you will be able to quickly correlate. Yeah, this is the point which was there, and this is going to have the input from the previous chapters, and it's going to get the connectivity in the next chapters. So I think that's a thought just I'm having in mind, if we can give something of that sort in future. Now, this is a general comment with respect to the session itself, but I think few of the things that Imtiaz said, I do agree with him that especially in the, I think Rahul and Dipti said about the the challenges or what not to be as a product manager or a product owner. Those are very, important, especially related to the timing. If you see, at least in the past 2 decades or something, where the concept of product itself has changed. When earlier you used to have a product called as, which is either some tangible something that you sell or software piece that you market out. Now, the concept itself has changed, where you have the unicorns of the world, where that itself is a product or the byproducts of something which is coming out of it. So many of the things which are written or been practiced in the past few decades, though in principle or in the base it might be applicable, but there could be many drastic changes which might be totally 180-degree other than what has been pursued and what has been believed in past. Like, for example, in nowadays, ideation is giving the topmost priority, from a product perspective. Ideation, timing, and adaptability. These are the parts you may not find in the olden style of books and something, but in the newer articles and newer subject, this has been given a top priority. Take an example of, I think, the YouTube itself. I don't know, I'm sure, I think many of the guys might know it as well. Okay? Before even YouTube was launched in the late 90s, there were more improved or better versions of YouTubes were available, but the timing was not good. That's the reason I think that didn't click and it didn't go through. So one of the best example that has been given as a use case for YouTube is that timing was something which was very important. So yeah, I think these are just comments I thought of sharing. I think moving forward we'll have more interactions and take it forward. Perfect. Yeah, I think there are some questions and
yeah, I think Siraj kind of summarized it nicely. Things keep changing and probably the basic principles remain. So that's where I was looking at this. Why I think Dipti brought this point, customer is the center. It's very important and a small cute line, but we face this problem. We were targeting the schools and then the management was willing to buy, oh, wow, what a product. And then the teachers are not using it because they don't want to use it. So how do you address who is your customer then in that case? And in one case, that I still that one comment was from this Educom guys, one of the brilliant guys. He commented on our product. Hey, this product looks like a magic. And then he said, "Ye to chamatkar ho gaya, chamatkar hi rahega." So what should we target in such case? I haven't figured that out. We left that segment and probably doing something else now, at least, which is more one-to-one.
Yep. So can I put some additional light on that one?
Yeah.
Okay. Assuming that, okay, our meeting is still 90 minutes and it is going to end until 11:30. That is the formal time. But if we want to end earlier, perfectly fine. But wanted to take this view that, okay, who is really our customer is. Okay, just take the example that, okay, right now, nowadays, multiple teams have Microsoft Teams. Multiple companies are using Microsoft Teams. Or just take the example of our day-to-day work that, okay, we are putting our kids to the school. We are keeping our kids are studying over there. So I don't want to go to the stakeholder, the end user, and all those things. Just the word customer. So whether it is the student is the customer or the parent is the customer.
I think school is the customer.
Yep.
They are pushing it, right?
Yep. Now the scenario is that, okay, Abdul is putting his son, taking the admission, his son in the school. Abdul is taking admission, his son, to XYZ school.
Yeah.
So in this scenario where Abdul and the son are involved, so who is the customer over here?
For school, who is the customer? That is the question, right?
No, for the software, who is the customer is asking for the team software.
For team software.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I think, yeah.
No, team software, we will keep it aside. So this scenario, I have changed the scenario. Sorry to say that one. And so the scenario is that, okay, Abdul is taking admission for his son in the school.
Okay.
Okay, this is the scenario. So in this whole scenario, okay, who is the customer? I'm just putting my view. Okay,
Yeah.
These authors, okay, these authors are telling in this scenario, generally people might say that, okay, kid is the customer,
Correct,
Abdul
yeah.
is the customer. Okay, but what is that litmus test through which we will identify? Through which we will identify in a scenario who is the customer. So these authors, the Silicon Valley of product group, so they are telling the person who pays from the pocket. The person who pays from the pocket, he's the customer. If I take another example, that, okay, Abdul is purchasing insurance for his parents. Abdul is taking insurance for his parents. So whether Abdul is the customer or parents are the customer.
Yeah.
So the decision-making person, he generally pays the amount, and he is generally the customer. Okay, just take the example the laptop. Okay, I'm purchasing a laptop for my kids to study. So who has purchased that item? I'm just putting the views what they are telling.
Yeah, I think that makes sense, because
okay,
at the end of the day, yeah, from pure business perspective,
Yes.
logically what you said is absolutely right. The receipt that, eventually, you make a product for business, right? I mean, and you get succeed only when, it gets sold, and selling is money, and that is how it percolates, that the person who is, getting involved in the transaction is the customer. If I just add up to your thought process, customer is a perspective which has evolved. Let's say, for example, as you rightly said, at the start of the, purchasing the product or during the first transaction, the person who is the customer. Now you take it further, the customer journey improves. Then, let's say when you do upsell, cross sell or something, then that time, whether probably the kid is a customer, or the parent is a customer, or the school is a customer, it again boils down to how it is in service. So in a way, other perspective, other thought to see it is, in any piece that you're selling it as product, whichever people or whichever entities it touches the life, they become the customer base. Let's say, for example, in the case of Teams, or in the case of software, parent is the one who's putting the money, kid is the one who's going to the school is the one who is providing the services. So in a way, the initiation of the sale is done through the parent, so he's putting this one. So it could be the customer, one of the customer, you can say entity. Then the school is using it, so those could also be a part of the customer base which happens. So this is one where the terminology or jargon might fit in the case of in the case of retail or this kind of software. But think from this angle, where you have the Amazons, or the large entities who are selling different thoughts of different kinds of products or something, then the scenario totally changes. Who's the customer? It's an interesting point to deliberate on.
Yep, I agree with that one.
Taking the same Baiju example, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Baiju, those parents are paying, but it is built and it was supposed to be built, and it is used by users are kids.
True.
Yep.
So maybe important stakeholders, and stakeholders' opinion matters, and parents plays that very important role, who is paying, and he can, and I mean, parent can be a decision maker to shift from Basis to Vedantu.
Yes, true. So that is the reason.
But end user is a kid for whom this whole product is built.
Yes, end user is the person for whom the product is built, but the customer who is paying, he is not satisfied with the kids' growth. The kids' growth. Okay, so that's the reason the decision maker who is paying.
Yeah, that impacts the product market, of course.
I agree.
Yeah. So all are important stakeholders, and stakeholders' opinion matters.
Yeah.
True. Very much true. Okay, any other point which we want to discuss?
Nothing specific, very specific from my end.
So the next would be Rahul will continue for the remaining.
Yep, I have
chapter,
taken
right?
those notes.
Yeah.
So Rahul, then I think Zishan is not there, so his chapter I will take. Okay.
Sure.
And I will put it immediately on the group as well, so that we get time accordingly. So Rahul, Abdul, and Mushtaq will be there next time.
Sure. Okay. Nice meeting everyone.
Great. Thank you, everyone,
Thank
Nice
for your
you.
time.
Nice meeting. Yeah, thanks.
Have a good day.
Nice
Thank you.
discussion. Thank you. Thank you so
Bye.
much. Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.